I'm thrilled today to be joined by Connie Hyde, who's played one of my favourite recent additions to the Corrie lineup, Gina Seddon, since 2017. Her recent involvement in Sally's prison story has seen plenty of viewers get hot under the collar, and today I'll be asking her about what she makes of it all. Connie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
It's a pleasure.
So, first things first then, Gina Seddon. In your opinion, good, evil, or somewhere in between?
Oh, certainly not evil.
That's what I think.
She's very childlike, Gina. She doesn't really think of consequences to her actions, partly because of the bipolar, I think. But also she's very spontaneous. She doesn't think before she acts, really. And I think that gets her in a lot of trouble. And I think that's what we've seen. But certainly there is no malice in her, actually. No. Yeah, certainly not evil.
I've seen lots of people saying that she purposefully dropped Sally in it, if you like, when it was her trial, and then was luring Tim to bed. And I didn't see it like that. What would you say to people that are saying that about the character?
Well, I mean, the facts were, can I say? No, she absolutely intended to stick up for her in the court case. She got. Unfortunately, she doesn't think as quickly as a barrister. She got tongue-tied. Another factor was she's also, believe it or not, quite moralistic. She looked at the oath. She didn't want to lie on oath. But she did a whole big speech saying how Sally had saved her. But she was asked, has Sally been unfaithful? And the answer to that is yes, she has. So that's fact. So, I was surprised by the court case that people thought that she'd done it on purpose, because she hadn't at all. There was I think the story was, will she do it or won't she? And actually, the way it came out was, no, she didn't, but it inadvertently actually messed up. So, came out with stuff that she shouldn't have done, but it wasn't intentional. And the same goes for the pursuit of Tim, really. I mean, it was Tim who kissed her, and it was Tim who pulled her into bed. Now, what is inexcusable is the thing that Gina did do wrong was try to keep them separate.
I agree.
Sally and Tim. But that wasn't an easy decision for her, and she, more than anyone, and we'll see this in the future, will punish herself for that more than anyone could. She hates herself so much for doing that and for hurting Sally. But I think it was actually very important that the writers, and we all talked about it before, that she wasn't demonised, and she wasn't going, I'll get Sally in prison to get her husband in bed. It was absolutely not that case, not the case.
So have you been quite surprised by the reactions of so many viewers that they do seem to be gunning for Gina now?
Yeah, I'm glad in a way, because she, I think all reactions are valid, and I think it's the fact that they were passionate about it means they were invested in it, whether they liked her or not. But it is an investment in the story, and that's always a positive thing, really. But what I like about it is she's a complex character, Gina. She's not, you can't put her in a box. So I think, we will see more and more now a redemption of the character, which is lovely to play as well.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, I've been watching, and it does seem that she's genuinely sorry, and it looks like the showrunners want us to feel sorry for Gina following her actions.
Yeah, and that will get actually more and more without spoiling anything. And, at the end of the day, they're sisters. They've been through a lot together. And, there is, in the past, in their growing up, they came from a very, very difficult background. Yeah. The Seddons were violent, and Sally got out of it. Gina didn't, unfortunately, because she's younger. So I think there's a guilt from Sally feels towards her sister, feels like she has to look after her. But there's also probably a little bit of resentment from Gina's point of view that it seems to have been so easy for her, for Sally. So that's the only thing probably would have been a factor over over the storyline at Christmas. That this lovely life that Gina has never had.
Yeah. Do you think that? Well, what do you think about how Tim's kind of almost got away with it? He said some awful things to Sally. He seems to have got through the whole ordeal remarkably unscathed now, while Gina has basically been kicked to the curb. Do you think that Sally should have held Tim more to account for accusing her of having an affair, abandoning her when she needed him?
Well, I do. Because I can't believe that Gina's never said, look, you kissed me, you got me into, you pulled me into, all these things that she's never said to Sally. Yeah. She doesn't want to hurt her. But I think actually, I think it might be unfortunate in life. It's usually the woman who is blamed for things like that at the end of the day. And I think that's quite a reflection on the storyline. Yeah, he has got away with it a little bit. So, but I think Sally and Tim are so loved as characters. I think that's what the audience want to happen. So, yeah.
Well, I hope that there is, as I say, some kind of reconciliation between Sally and Gina soon, because they're sisters, and I really love the chemistry that you and Sally Dinner had on the show, and I want to see you being back like that again.
Oh, I think you will see a bit of that, and I adore her. I absolutely adore her, working with her. She's so talented and so passionate about to be doing it for that long and still be passionate and energetic about the part. It's incredible. She's a joy to work with.
Yeah. You seem to be able to speak quite passionately about Gina yourself. How important is it as an actor that you try to see the actions that your character any character you portray from their point of view, that you sympathise with them?
I think to empathise, well, you have to understand what makes people tick. If you're playing Hitler, you have to know that he thought he was right. He thought he was helping. It's sort of whoever you're playing. Not in Gina's case, but it was very important to me to do a lot of research into bipolar and to talk to as many people as possible who'd suffered from it. And weirdly enough, I've got a lot of feedback from people who've got bipolar, because I think when Gina first came into the programme, she was very hyper. She was she wasn't in a good state of mind. But I've based that on realism, because sometimes, you see these incredible characters that come into parties and are just the life and soul, and then they disappear for months on end, and it's an energy which is almost heightened and a little bit too much that I wanted to catch. She's on a different energy when she came in to everybody else, and that is a little bit, blimey, what's going on? But that's and she's actually quite stable at the moment. She's on her meds and things like that, and I think that's what will be easier to deal with, because that's not sustainable to play as an actor either.
No. Do you find it quite exhausting to play her when she's going through one of her highs?
I did find it exhausting, and I just had to remind myself, my God, at least I can switch off. Yeah. And there are people out there who are literally not sleeping, the lady I talked to, not sleeping for days, nights, for weeks on end, and being absolutely, hyper alert and literally talking 10 to the dozen. Yeah. And you think, how exhausting must that be? So whether the crash has to happen after that, because that's not sustainable, is it?
No.
But I was very lucky in the fact that I could just visit it now and then and switch off. Yeah.
So you spoke to people and did work with charities relating to bipolar?
Yeah, the Bipolar Society especially, and they gave me a chart a colour chart of different characteristics and how she would feel. I mean, some people can get tipped over by different things. That's a huge one, Brexit, but it can also be a pregnancy in the royal family, or something. It's sort of something a little bit different can tip people over the edge sometimes. So it's finding those triggers as well.
Yeah. How important is it for you then that her condition is treated sensitively rather than just being, used as an excuse for her to, go crazy, get a bit of drama?
Well, everything I hope I try and base in reality and be as truthful as possible. It was very important to the writers as well not to demonise her.
Yeah.
Yes, she's messed up. She's messed up big time, but we will see, as I said, that nobody hates her more than she hates herself for that. And it's unfortunately, she's done that throughout her life. She's made big mistakes because she acts without thinking sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think Corrie's done quite a lot of good work recently to highlight mental health issues, hasn't it? I mean, there's been Aidan's suicide, of course, Craig's OCD. How do you feel about being part of the message that these things need to be talked about?
I think it's an incredible vehicle, isn't it, to have a programme that goes into your house when you can watch with your children and talk about that. I mean, it was a difficult one with the rape storyline and Jack's story, watching with my boys, but all these things hopefully open the conversation and doesn't ostracise people with mental illness, especially at the moment. We're at a crisis point, aren't we, Michael, at the moment, especially with young people, and you think, God, this has to be addressed at some point. And programmes like Coronation Street and the storylines help to do that, because it normalises it in a way, and it helps to bring it into the family, start a conversation. So
yeah, I mean, so many people, so many viewers watch these characters and kind of almost see them as an extension of their family. They come into their homes three nights a week, and it definitely seems to have been one of Kate Oates' goals to try and get it highlighted more. I think she's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Ian as well, he's doing, I think the colours of the characters now, I said, Maureen I absolutely adore, and the older characters, I love seeing those, powerhouse performances. We have got a social responsibility to get it right. But I think there's no better writing on TV, I don't think. I think they're just incredible.
Yeah, no, I agree. So can we talk a bit about some of the TV work you've done before you joined Corrie? I mean, I was so excited when I heard that you were cast as Gina, because I absolutely loved the character you played in The Bill, Kathy Bradford, who was also another quite disturbed character, shall we say.
No, she was evil. She actually had Munchausen disease. So I seem to get these complicated ladies, which is great fun to play, obviously, and interesting. But she did. She was a sort of a little bit of a. She murdered 3 people. But it was. I had the most fantastic storylines, because she just made things up for attention, and she, had the most. Made up the most ridiculous things sometimes, but completely believed it. You can't, completely believed in the story herself,
Yeah, but, I loved it. I mean, although Polly Page was also one of my favourite characters, and I was like, no, what are you doing to poor Polly?
Oh, I know. Who's a great friend of mine, Lisa.
Yeah.
She's absolutely gorgeous. We used to have great fun. Yeah, great fun with me, sort of strangling her. And
do you find that the way that Kathy's, you said she had Munchausen's, so did you say that her condition was treated any differently, like back then, 15 years ago, than mental health is on TV now? Have we moved on?
Yes, I would say so. I don't think they'd have someone with a mental illness murdering. Thank goodness, actually.
Yeah.
That is a stage forward. I mean, I'm joking, it was fun to play, but it's a very serious condition. Yes, I think we've progressed a little bit on that. So I think The Bill was just... I do miss The Bill, because I think, it was a family TV programme, but there was a lot of material to cover. Yeah. And, I think it was on twice a week and an hour long. So... Basically, I think more film and time than the soaps, actually. Yeah. So
it went through a patch around about when you were in it, when it was getting quite soapy itself, wasn't it? And there was a lot about the police officers' dramas at home and their affairs and everything like that. I quite like that, actually, but I know it got a lot of criticism for not being quite as serious and policey as it had been.
I think people don't like change, do they, Michael? I think that's when new characters come in or there's format changes. What I didn't agree with really was changing it to 9 o'clock because it didn't have the time or the budget really to compete with those big dramas at 9 o'clock, and I think it was the 8 o'clock slot was a far better fit really. So I think that was its undoing really, unfortunately, because I think a lot of people still miss it. I still get people sort of talking to me about it saying they really miss it.
And I mean that used to be a really good show for British actors to get a step into the industry almost, wasn't it? There's so many actors now who say, "Oh, Bill's on the resume."
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a running joke, but in actual fact, it was. Actually, there's a few directors that I worked with on Coronation who I worked with on the bill, and what you worked with fantastic young actors. They were inexperienced, but God, were they passionate and wanting to learn, and so it gave people opportunities to play great parts sometimes, the guest lead, when they just come out of drama school, or just so it was a wonderful gift really, because ordinarily you probably wouldn't go straight into playing something like that, but it really did open up a lot of opportunities for young actors and all of us actually. I think Doc's sort of taken over that role, hasn't it now?
Yeah, exactly. It was quite funny as well. About a year and a half ago, I think it was not long after you joined Corrie, I was watching The Vicar of Dibley repeat on Sky, and it was the one that you were in there. And I loved Vicar of Dibley when it was back on, and I watched this. It was the Songs of Praise episode, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I watched it over and over again when I was younger. But I didn't realise until about a year and a half ago when it came on. I was like, oh, there's Connie Hyde off Corrie, and Peter Capaldi off Doctor Who. He's in it as well.
I know. It was one of my first jobs. I must admit, I was so terrified. I watch it, I go, oh, I could see the fear in my eyes.
That was my mum's favourite episode of Vicar of Dibley. Was it a fun shoot to do, apart from the terror?
I mean, working with people like that, I mean, it is an absolute, but it's also live. So I think actually my first job was on Drop the Dead Donkey, which was the same. Yeah. You sort of rehearse it and then you do it in front of a live audience, which is all right because I'm theatre based, so it's sort of not too bad, but it can be terrifying. Especially when you're working with these incredible actors who do seemingly do it with such ease. But no, it's a real baptism of fire, that is.
Mm-hmm. Do you prefer live and theatre, or do you prefer TV?
I love both for different reasons. I do love theatre, but because of the immediacy, and the rawness of it. But TV, I just think you can be so small. It's a completely different way of approaching it, really, as an actor, and it's wonderful to do both. If you can, that's your ideal. Really, that's your ideal world as an actor.
Yeah. So going back to Corrie then, when you were given the part of Gina Seddon, did you feel it was important to find out about the character's backstory? You've spoken already a bit today about the fact that you know about the Seddons. Was that important, or was the new Gina, if you like, a bit of a blank slate?
No, it's always important. You are given a bit of a backstory, but also I fill in the gaps myself, because things happen for a reason. Your reactions are for a reason. You behave in a certain way because of your upbringing, really. Yeah. As I say, the way she is with men is not ideal. She's been badly treated by her father, by her husband, by a son. She's got two very wild children that are not that haven't been. Which I would love to. Them to come into the story.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because when you came into the show, it was almost like they'd been retconned out, because you had the stepdaughter and her dad, and there wasn't very much mention of the other children. They still do exist.
I've had a couple of conversations with Sally about look at your children, they're so fantastic, and look at mine are a nightmare. I do think they're in prison. Both of them, probably. I don't think they've treated her very well. So she is a product of her upbringing and all that, all the experiences that she's gone through. It affects people, doesn't it? Yeah. We are all victims of that.
So, I mean, I guess there may be scope for them to, appear on Gina's doorstep one day after they come out of prison. Or even people in Corrie are always going to prison, aren't they? They could end up in a cell with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Who knows? But I do like that they're there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she would bend over backwards for them. I know she would have given them everything. And been thrown back in her face. So I think there is scope for her to be destroyed by them again.
Do you think that Gina would really just like to have a normal, if you like, family and settle down?
I think she'd love that, but I don't know who would have her. I love the relationship with Dev, actually.
I did too.
Absolutely adored that, because they're both quite as
little eccentric
as each other, and I think I don't know why. I think for the it's all, as I say, storylines for the Christmas probably, but it was that seemed to work for me, and I adore Jimmy as well. He's an amazing actor to work with. He thinks outside the box, and he's a very sort of exciting actor to work with.
Yeah, I remember. I really liked the scene. It was when all the characters crowded back into Sally's house earlier on in the year, and you did Twister and everything, and Gina was having one of her highs, and Dev was very accepting of her as she was, and you got to love me, whatever I'm like. Gina was saying, and I think Dev would have done but it was the kids, wasn't it? They weren't interested in keeping Gina around.
Yeah, no, I think that was a lovely relationship. Well, who knows?
who knows? I mean, okay, so have you got anything that you quite like Gina to have happen to her in the future for Corrie? Any storylines you'd like to give to the writers?
Well, I thought, because she used to design these terrible fascinators. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
These terrible fascinators. I would love her to get very rich, have one of the royals like Eugenie or Beatrice wear one for a wedding, and for it to go at the front cover okay or something.
Imagine what Sally would say if her sister got one of the royals wearing something. You'd be able to look down. Can you
imagine it? And then all the Chelsea set go mad for these fascinators, and she gets very, very rich. I mean, that would make me laugh so much, and I think Beatrice might be on for that. That would make me say that, but I don't think it would last very long, her money, because what she does is probably buy Sally a pink Hummer and completely, waste it, or the kids come and steal it off her. But I would like her to get quite glamorous, because my costume is a running joke. I mean, I look like a 15-year-old boy half the time. It's absolutely horrendous the way my hair's scraped back. So I'd like her to have a bit of glamour.
Yeah, you glammed yourself up a few times for Dev, I remember.
Yes, a few times. Not very many, though.
So on the whole, then, would you say that you've been happy with being in Corrie and your colleagues there? Have you been welcomed into the Corrie family?
Oh, it's always it's in my DNA, Michael. It's always been a job I've wanted to do, and I've loved every minute of it. I've absolutely, I mean, Sally especially, is a gift to be working with someone like that. So I've been very lucky. I've looked out there. So no, it's surpassed my dreams, really.
Yeah.
Right. I think I admire, especially people the other side of the camera, actually, that we don't really see. They are so talented, so hardworking, and work day in, day out. We have the odd scene off, and that's all right, but they're there all the time, and they're the people that really make the machine work.
I know sometimes they just don't seem to get the credit they deserve, do they? I mean, it's the actors are the ones that the viewers see.
Yeah, absolutely. But really, it's that hard work and dedication that from the costume, the makeup, the crew. It's the seconds. It's incredible when you see it working. It is like a machine, and it's they're there all the time, and they're brilliant.
I suppose it could be a case of if you don't notice it, then they're doing a good job, because it's just all feels smooth and perfect.
Suppose so, yeah. So, but to come out with that amount of, material in that short time shows, you have to be at the top of your game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, all I can say is I've spoken to a couple of the crew before our interview today to say that I'd be chatting with you, and they've all been very, very complimentary. It's all been, oh, Connie, she's so lovely. Oh, gorgeous Connie. And I can confirm
sweet.
they're right.
Oh, lovely, Michael.
It's been
you have to convince everybody she's lovely.
It's been so lovely chatting to you today. Thank you, Connie. It's been wonderful. As I say, you've been one of my favourite characters on the show for the last couple of years, and it's been a real honour to be able to chat to you about your feelings about the character and the fact that you pretty much agree with me about what was going on before Christmas too.
Yeah, absolutely. Not her fault. Thank you, Michael.
So what would you say, just finally, to any other Gina fans who've had their faith in the character seriously shaken over Christmas? Have you got a parting message for them before we finish?
Oh, hold on, because she'll be coming back. I tell you, you see. I think when you see the self-hatred, I think you understand that it was not an easy thing for her to do, a stupid thing for her to do. And they've really written that brilliant. We've got some lovely scenes of me and Sally, which I can't talk about, obviously. But they've treated it very sensitively.
Brilliant. I'll look forward to seeing them, honestly. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Michael.
See you. Bye-bye.